Hello, I'm David Crowell. I'm coming back for the second half of the show, and this is Money Matters. I was talking in the first half of the show about the interesting and powerful economic uniqueness of this area, and really that being a function of the unique demographics of this area, with the baby boom influx gradually dominating the culture and economy of Hilton Head, and a much younger Generation X, Generation Y, and millennial based economy growing really in Bluffton and beyond, really becoming the beltway, economic beltway of the future between Savannah, Bluffton, Hardyville, up the coast to Beaufort, up the coast to Charleston. This is really one of the great growth areas and great growth opportunities. So if you're 25 years old and living in Bluffton or Hardyville, do some very careful career assessment. If you have a grandchild who is in that category, do some very careful career assessment. You've got a wonderful, who knows how long, 20, 30 year, the 20, 30 year economic pathway that's economic boom that's coming for this whole beltway between Savannah and Charleston, with Bluffton with a head start right in the middle of it. And there's a huge economic boom coming through that whole beltway. What you want to do is get yourself oriented, get your skills together, get your mind clear, so that you have a career that can take advantage of that 20, 30, 40-year boom. You're going to be, if you're 25 years old, you're going to be working for another 40 years. Might as well be doing something that is in sync with the economic boom that's coming to this area over that time. So you want to go to job counselors, you want to go to mentors, and you want to study closely what it is that you want to do that's going to be able to attach itself to that economic growth that's coming to the area. I'm not just talking off the top of my head. I'm at the other end of the spectrum, and I can look back and say, you know, you really can plan these things, or you can certainly assist yourself by attempting to plan these things and not just be a sort of sitting duck to events. Now, I know a lot of you are not 25 years old who are watching this at the moment, but you all know someone who is. So this is advice to be taken. It's not a silver bullet piece of advice. It's get out there and go to the Chamber of Commerce, meet with the, sit on the doorstep, meet with the president of the Chamber of Commerce, meet with the assistant directors, meet with the upper echelon people in the Chamber of Commerce and say, look, counsel me. I'm 25 years old, I'm bright, I'm attractive, and I want to choose the right career, the right job sector for the next 30 years. Where would you have me look? Because they know a great deal about this economic renaissance that's coming to the area. It's the biggest one, arguably, it's the biggest one for this beltway since the development of the port, the redevelopment of the port in Savannah and the redevelopment of the port at the other end in Charleston. So you look at the big things. You look at an area that now is accessible through its airports and through its ports to international trade and to factories that take advantage of international trade. We're not producing in the area crops and you know, sugar beet and cotton and agricultural crops and so forth. We're producing high-value goods through high-value jobs, and that's simply going to increase over this period of time. I would go to TCL and I would ask, the technical college of the Low Country, I would ask the guidance counselors there, doesn't matter whether you're a student, sit on the doorstep, turn up and say, I'm 25, intelligent and attractive, and I want to know what to do for the next 40 years if I'm going to live in this area and be attached to the economic boom. So that I can think of, if I had time in this session, I could think of 10 more people that you could talk to and gradually refine your thinking and get your ideas straight. Go to a life counselor or a life coach, someone like Jenny Lockhart, who's an old and dear friend. And Jenny Lockhart is a life coach and helps people to look at themselves in many different ways, not just as a psychotherapist, but as a living entity participating in the world. Where are you directing your energy? How can you make yourself productive? How can you mold yourself into someone who can achieve their goals and dreams and so forth? Your economics, which I talk about every week, the nuts and bolts of the dollars, are only one piece of that. You've got to be positioned correctly. So this is not something we often talk about because the audience for Money Matters tends to be folks that are a bit older, maybe not as old as me, but certainly a bit older. And but we really need all of us who are older. We really need to be helping everybody from, grandchildren who are going to college and are 18, 19, 20 years old, all the way up to people that we meet on a daily basis who are 25, 30, 35 years old. We need to give them the perspective that we have, the economic and life planning perspective that we have, the mentoring perspective that we have, so that they position themselves to be successful. There are just countless ways to, as it were, put yourself in the stream that's moving forward, as opposed to putting yourself into a brackish pond, in your life. You can put out the same energy, the same effort, the same intelligence, the same hard work, but if you're also happening to be sitting in a moving stream, then your effort produces tenfold what your effort would produce if you're in an eddy, in a side pocket that's going nowhere. So you're putting forth all of the energy, but you're not really going anywhere. And I won't bore you with the hundreds of examples. That's the sense in which all of us who are older can help, because we know exactly what I'm talking about. We know from our own experience, looking back at our lives, looking at the periods where things seem to be clicking, things seem to be moving forward. My message today, the sort of theme of this, is that the Low Country is in a uniquely exciting time in this regard. The older community, well, not the older community, but the more distinct community that is famous around the country, which is Hilton Head, as a resort area and Gulf Mecca and so forth, it's doing just fine and will do just fine for the next 15 or 20 years because of the influx of baby boomers. But the really exciting economic opportunities that Bluffton's boom and beyond, Okatee, Hardyville, and the whole Beltway from Savannah to Charleston, the economic opportunities there are just enormous, and we really need to help each of the younger people that we know to be able to get involved there. In both cases, this is a little bit separated from the economy as a whole. These two phenomena and successes are going to take place kind of whatever happens to the economy as a whole. They may accelerate or decelerate a bit with the national economy, but these two phenomena are quite safe, independent of the national economy. So that's Money Matters for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have, and I'm David Crowell, signing off for Money Matters and Mortgage Network. Thank you.